Epstein survivor Annie Farmer joins me now. Annie, I'm grateful for your time. It's been a long journey. Tell me how you're feeling about today and what you hope will come of today's advocacy.
Well, thank you for having me, Major, and thank you for centering the voices of survivors. That's something that has not happened enough in this case. I'm feeling a little exhausted after today, but also hopeful. You know, this last couple of days has been very powerful, both to be gathered with so many other women that are sharing their stories and are bravely speaking out and asking for justice, but also to be finally invited into the conversation. And I think, to meet with lawmakers, to see them be emotionally moved by these stories, it felt like perhaps for the first time that maybe there was a chance that there would be movement.
The president was asked about this today, and he again called this a Democratic hoax. How did that make you feel?
It's very troubling to hear that language used. And I think that actually came up at the press conference, and to be in the company of so many women who had just told their stories, and then to have him continue to say this, it felt like it feels like an assault on us again, right? There's been so many betrayals over the years in this case by the government, and to be there on the steps, to be invited by lawmakers, to be telling our stories, and then to have the president say it's a hoax, it's very upsetting.
Walk my audience through what you mean, Annie, when you talk about government betrayals so far.
Yeah, I mean, I think that goes back to 1996. You know, that's when I met Epstein and Maxwell. And that's when my sister, Maria Farmer, first reported what happened to me when I went to Zor Ranch, and what happened to her when she was assaulted on the Wexner property, and the theft of photographs that she had taken for her art that were sensitive photographs of herself and of me and my younger sister. So she reported that to the FBI. There was, as far as we know, no further investigation. There was no follow-up, at least with us. And then in 2006, we're approached by the FBI, and they say, okay, now we really need you to tell your stories. We need you to come forward. We know this is scary, but we're going to make sure that this man is finally held accountable. And then, as we all know, he gets a sweetheart deal. We're not even informed of what has happened with the case. We're left hanging. And, he's given a chance to leave his imprisonment during the day on a work release program, where we heard stories yesterday about how he continued the abuse during that work release program, right? So, that's another betrayal. And then I'd say in 2019, he's finally arrested. Once again, we feel hopeful, and he dies in U.S. custody. And then we're asked to come forward and share again our stories with the FBI, and that there may be further people arrested. And the only person from all of that, from all the stories that were told, that was arrested was Ghislaine Maxwell. I was one of the women who was a witness at her trial, one of the 4 victims, and we represented so many others. And in that case, we went again, agreed that we would do this, to testify and go through this process for the government, and then to see what's happened recently with her prison transfer and talk of a pardon. I mean, it's a real slap in the face.
Do you want the files in the possession of the Justice Department and the Treasury Department released in hopes that they might lead to further prosecution, or just so that everyone can see what happened, and whether there's prosecution or not, you and other survivors obtain some measure of probably inadequate, but nevertheless important closure?
I think transparency, hopefully there could be many outcomes, right? One, I do believe, is understanding the systemic failures that allowed this abuse to continue for so long. That's important for our country, to keep children safe, is for us to understand what went wrong here. But also, I do believe there are people in positions of power that were very much implicated that have never been held accountable, and that the pressure could come from the public if they know what is in that information, that something might be done.
Annie Farmer, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much for it.
Thank you for having me.
We'll keep in touch.